Hello. I want to talk a little bit about the difference between pleasure and happiness. The first thing that stands out as just the truth in such a comparison is that pleasure is fleeting. We all know that from life experience. Pleasure comes and goes. And that's okay, there's nothing wrong with pleasure. But is that how I want my life to be focused on things that come and go? That doesn't feel sustainable. That doesn't feel enjoyable. That doesn't feel solid. It doesn't feel like it gives me anything of substance, anything of depth. And as we know, in this world of interrelated opposites, this world of duality, this universe, when we have one thing, we also have its opposite. Like we couldn't know beauty unless we knew ugliness. If everything was in the same template of beautiful, we wouldn't have anything to compare it to contrast it with. So, with pleasure, we get pain. And that's so much of the way that the ego is constructed, the mind is constructed to go after pleasure, to seek pleasure, and to avoid pain, to flee from it. So there's desires and fears, cravings and aversions. And again, this is natural. It's natural for the organism, the body mind, to pursue what feels good for it, what brings it comfort, and to move away from what causes pain. This is evolution. This is survival. Um, all animals do this. But as we've evolved into what we are, into humans, there there's a next level we could go to now. We don't need to be stuck in that anymore. Stuck in this. And that's where happiness comes in. Sustainable, legit, full on, complete happiness. Not happiness based on something, happiness that's free from something. It's free as it is. It's self-luminous. It doesn't require anything in the external reality. And that's where the big delineation is between pleasure and happiness. Some of the teachings address the experience of feeling a sense of happiness and completeness upon getting the object of our desire. And they talk about it might feel like happiness, but in actuality, the happiness doesn't come from getting the object, the desired object, but it comes from the feeling of space that we experience inside, because in that moment there's a lack of wanting anything. The spaciousness is created because for a brief period of time, for a moment or two, the ego has become, how do you say the word? Quiescent, has become quieted. So it's actually, the whole thing is an internal process. And then the mind will come back, usually, naturally, for most of us, the mind comes back soon with another craving or more of an aversion. It might even, an aversion or a fear might come after, as what do you call it, as like a swing back or something, after we get the object of our desire, and then we feel that space, we feel that happiness, we label it as because we got this thing, and then a few moments later fear might come because it's like, oh, when will we get that again, or how long will it be, or on and on. So many ways that the ego just comes in with this, keeping us in that paradigm again, desires and fears. And self-awareness, observation, is the way to start to lead to happiness, to make it more accessible by observing what's okay. So the forefront of my mind, you know, in the day-to-day is going after this and avoiding this. What is in the background that watches all this, that watches this dance? Who is witnessing this play? And the more we abide in that presence, the easier and more enjoyable life becomes.